What's going on, everyone? Episode 53 of Luck or Talk Live. On today's show, we got some Houston area recaps, updates, everything you need to know heading into Week 11, the final week of the Texas high school football season. Some teams are in, some teams are on the cusp, hoping to get in, and there's probably some big matchups we'll have to get to. That's gonna go a long way in deciding maybe who gets that last fourth place spot. Maybe who gets the third and who gets the fourth, because as we all know, you really don't want that fourth place spot usually, because that means you're usually playing a first place team, in certain cases. So, definitely something you want to watch out for. But before we get into all that, I got to bring in my man. Yes, I'm not by myself today. I got a co-host today, and that is Scott. Scott, how you doing today, man?
What's up, Wac? I didn't realize you went solo yesterday. We were out at Fort Bend ISD doing their winter media day, soccer, swim, basketball. Got to see some great talent over in Fort Bend ISD, Greater Houston area. So I'm here with you now. You don't have to go solo dolo, which is always fun doing it. But I'm here, ready to talk some football. It's crazy to think it's the last week of the season. Blink twice. It feels like we started the season yesterday, and now we're already into the last week of the season. Man, it's been a fun, wild ride. Some great games across the season, and I expected great games to continue as we go into the playoffs. And for those who probably won't make the playoffs, with it being the last week, want to give a shout out to those seniors. Play hard this last week. Enjoy it, last ride. I'm getting chills just thinking about it because everybody remembers their senior year. Great memories across the board. So shout out to all the seniors out there who this is going to be their last week. And then for those who hopefully to make a deep run in the playoffs, because nobody wants the season to end early. Am I right, Josh?
That is correct. You never want the season to end early, but, hey, sometimes it happens and you just got to roll with it. And then you have those teams that are ready for the playoffs, and it's always interesting, right? Do you sit some players? Do you rest some players? I mean, we got a big matchup in Westlake and Lake Travis this week. I know this is kind of the Houston recap, but you got to wonder, if K. Klubnik is ready, does he come back or does he sit out one more week to get primed and ready for the playoffs? So lots of big decisions for a lot of teams heading into the final week. But before we do that, you haven't been on in a few minutes, I should say, but a few episodes. Your Astros are in the World Series. You're repping the H-Town right now. I see. They are currently down 3-2. Is the game tonight? I don't know if shake your head if the game's tonight, Scott. Yep. So Game 6 is tonight. As we know, they held off being eliminated on Sunday. They gave up a grand slam to start the first inning, and everyone kind of thought it was over, but the Stros bounced back. So what are your thoughts, Scott? I mean, your team's down, but they're not out. Give me that lowdown on the Houston Astros.
Man, yeah, as you can see, I rep for the H, hashtag for the H, Houston Astros. Hopefully we can get it done. Look, we've been down 3-2 before, so we've been there, especially those core guys, Correa, Altuve, Bregman, Gurriel. Those guys have played more playoffs games together than anybody in the history of Major League Baseball. So we're going to ride or die with those guys. And hopefully we ride and we get the dub tonight. Luis Garcia's on the mound tonight. We just got to get to Game 7, because in Game 7, anything can happen. So I'm pumped, man. I'm definitely biased. I think we get it done. I think we win Game 6 and 7, bring home the World Series back to the city of Houston. Sorry, haters. Don't know what else to say. We got a good squad. Sorry, haters. Look, there are other things I want to say, but I'm not allowed to because we work for VYPE and I like my job. So, man, I think we get it done. It's gonna be a test, though. I mean, Atlanta's a really good team, so hopefully we can get it done. I'm nervous, but we got it.
Well, and I think it definitely helps that Atlanta's star pitcher is out. Got injured in Game 1, so that definitely
tough break for Charlie Morton, right? Like, Charlie Morton was on the 2017 Astros in Game 7 against the Dodgers in 2017, pitched 3 or 4 innings, closed out the game. The guy's a Houston Astros legend. Everybody loved Charlie Morton. It's just, contractual, just whatever. Charlie Morton moved on. That's the nature of the business side of sports, unfortunately, especially at the pro level. But everybody loved Charlie Morton. Everybody in the city of Houston still loves Charlie Morton. So I hope for a quick recovery for Charlie Morton, that he'll bounce back. But biasly, him being out definitely gave us, because if he was on the mound of Game 5, I don't think the Astros get it done.
I think that was what a lot of people, that's kind of what I said is like, hey, Astros kind of got a lucky break in Game 5 with him being out, and I will see, right? So I mean, you kind of looked at the game on Saturday where you kind of thought that the Astros kind of had control of that, but then Braves come alive late, so it's going to come down to their bullpen for the Braves. I mean, one of their pitchers lasted a third of an inning in game 4. So it's going to come down to the Braves pitching and whether or not they can hold up or not.
It really is. And I was going to make a point, but I totally forgot what it is. I don't know. Let's go Stros.
There you go. Well, let's move on to high school football. As we know, Week 11, last week of the regular season. Let's take a look back at I want to talk about a couple of games from week 10. First off, North Shore Tascasita. North Shore's defense is great, but I've said it all year, and I'm going to stick with it as we head into Week 11 and into the playoffs. North Shore is going to go as far as their defense takes them, because if you look at that game, I mean, you had Tascasita's quarterback out of that game, and Tascasita still put up a fight. So if a team can come up with a high offensive, high octane offense and really just put it to the North Shore defense, North Shore's not going to make it very far. So it's really going to come down to the defense and how far they can carry them, unless the North Shore offense just kind of wakes up and explodes. But I feel that's my feeling is this team goes as far as the defense takes them. What do you think?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that defense has been carrying North Shore all year long. It looks like they've kind of figured it out on offense. They put up a decent amount of points up on Atascocita last week, so that was pretty impressive. I think they're starting a true freshman quarterback right now, if I'm not mistaken. Malatesta knows a little bit more about that, and so does Josh, because he was out at the game this last week. So, but you're right. Especially as the teams get better, and especially in Region 3, when you're going to have to play Ridgepoint, you're going to have to play Atascocita again. There's some really good teams in this region, good teams across the state of Texas. The deeper in the playoffs, that they're going to rely more on the defense. So totally agree. Defense is going to carry North Shore.
Then in another game I want to talk about, Jersey Village versus Stratford came down to the wire. Jersey Village gets the win, gets the district title. But Scott, I don't know if you've seen this play yet. I don't know how much you've seen of this game. So Jersey Village was winning 28-21, late into the game. Only a few seconds left in the game. Stratford throws up a Hail Mary attempt, and I just want you to watch. I have pauses in this video, so keep that in mind. But I just want you to watch this. We'll watch it.
Let me see it.
We'll play it on a little loop here. So here we go. Let's cut to it right now. So this is the first pause, as you can see.
Pause.
Here comes the second pause. You see what happened there. And here comes the third pause here in a second. And that is the game. Now, Scott, do you know why I paused it where I did?
Yeah, I do. I did see this video that you're playing over the weekend. Brian Peroni, actually, of 247, the A&M guy, was all over this. And we got the video. Who was out covering that game for us?
That was our VYPE's own Will Turboff covering this game.
Shout out to Turbo.
This is probably the best viewing. Like, if you're talking about like camera angles, this is the best one. So for those of you who don't know, let's play this game again, and I'll talk.
Play it in real time. Play it in real time.
Here we go. We got the Hail Mary coming. So as you see right here, the player is not down. It's a little hard to tell, but you can clearly see the number 6 is not down, right? So we're going to continue to play this here. It's going to start up here in a second. He drops it. That's a fumble. That is a fumble. Now, I want to pause it one more time. I'm going to let it play, and it's going to pause one more time because this is why Stratford did not get the touchdown. So you see, the ref starts waving his hand. He calls the play dead. And so what you're going to see here is you're going to see Stratford get the ball and go into the end zone. And as you see here. So Stratford does score, but because the ref had blown the whistle, he blew the play dead. Basically, they let the ball stay with Jersey Village. I feel that's not how you want a game to end, right? I mean, it was a great interception. All he had to do was take a knee. He drops the ball. It's a fumble. Stratford does recover. I think it's weird. I wonder at the college and NFL level if Jersey Village would have still gotten that ball because, there is a clear recovery by Stratford, but the play was blown dead. Very, very. What did you think when you saw this, Scott?
Oh man, for those watching right now, you can see my reaction. That's why you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm just shaking my head. My hair is all disheveled because I'm running it through like. Look, I generally, and especially at the high school level, I don't like putting refs on blast. I just don't. It's especially no video replay and whatnot. It's very difficult. So and most of the time they get it right. They really do. It's really easy to criticize officials at the NFL and college level because there's more national attention, a lot on the line. This was a blatant miscall. It just was. It was clear as day. It was an interception. The guy got so excited, he didn't go down on a knee. And look, it's in high school, dude, he didn't go, like, the only comparison I can think of is on a kickoff where the guy receiving the kickoff gives himself up. That's the rule. If you give yourself up, the play's blown dead. Maybe that's what the ref was thinking, that the player just gave himself up. But that's a live ball, and he dropped it. Stratford got robbed in that regard because Jersey Village didn't finish the play. Those are my thoughts. It was and now Jersey Village won the district championship because of that play. I know that there's a lot leading up to that game, of course, like turnovers, a lot of different plays could have gone different direction, ball bounces different ways, but when it comes down to that single play, it got blown. I really don't know how else to say it. Like, Josh, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Stratford did have, I think, 4 or 5 interceptions or something like that, although one was an interception that turned into a touchdown for Stratford. So, very crazy and wacky game in general. But, yeah, you hate to see that. I mean, like you said, it's hard to want to blame officials at the high school level because, these are usually people that work once a week, maybe once.
Yeah, they have other jobs.
Exactly.
They ref high school sports because I actually have a buddy who's starting to get into reffing, and he just does it because he really enjoys it. And, hold on. Clay Helton is the new coach at Georgia Southern University. Just saw that come across the Twitter timeline. So that's fun. But, yeah, my buddy, he just does it because he wants to. And he always gets criticized because that's what refs do, blown calls here or there, whatnot. So especially that's why I don't. This isn't their full-time jobs like in the NFL.
I think
how do you miss that?
I think it's a little bit in the moment, right? I mean, I think
at that point, yes.
I think after the play was over, there was 2 seconds left in the game, so the game's almost over. It was basically a game-clinching interception. Ref saw the interception. He's like, in his mind, game's over, right? He sees maybe he's not paying attention to the knee. Right? And so he just assumes the player was down because the player drops the ball. As soon as the player drops the ball, the ref's blowing the whistle. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the ref probably thinks, okay, he assumes the player was down because the player dropped the ball. Right? So terrible, terrible call. Credit to Will being in the right place at the right time. Right? He could have easily been on the other side of the field, on the other sideline, and not had as good of an angle. That was the perfect angle for that play.
Turbo.
So shout out to Will Turboff for not only that play, but he had tons of great highlights from that. So go to our VYPE Twitter, VYPE Houston Twitter to check out those. But I mean, man, like I said, it's just you hate to see a game end that way. But both these teams go to the playoffs, so really no harm, no foul there. But any last thoughts on this or any other game before we move and look at the district standings heading into the last week?
No, I mean, I think we've said all that we can say about the Jersey Village Stratford game. I mean, credit to Jersey Village. with this, they still win the district title for the first time in a long time. So credit to the Falcons over at Jersey Village. Maybe if you're Stratford, you can be like, man, we feel like we got robbed of an undefeated regular season. You can use that as motivation going into the playoffs. So maybe they can win a playoff game or sneak up on somebody that they're not expecting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's look ahead and let's look at the 5A, 6A schools in the Houston area and kind of see where things stand in each district as we head into Week 11. We'll start in the 5A Division 1, District 8. This one's locked up. So you got College Station 7-0, Magnolia West 7-0. So a big-time game right there for to see who's going to win district. And you have Magnolia and New Caney. And they play each other as well. So if you look at all the other records, there's no way anyone can get those other spots. It's those four.
Yeah, very top heavy.
And now it's really going to come down to College Station, Magnolia West, who takes 1, who takes 2, and Magnolia and New Caney, who takes 3, who takes 4. So that's kind of a fun district because things are decided, but you still don't know who's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So because they all play kind of each other this week. So very good district right there. Actually,
great. I mean, credit to Mag West for a really great season that they've had. Pretty, I don't know if unexpected is the right word, but definitely snuck up on some people because College Station was by far the clear favorite.
Yeah, definitely. While we do this, I'm actually doing this.
Going double screen?
Yeah, I'm going to do double screen right now. So since we're
Octo screen?
There you go. Boom, right there.
Hey.
So, let's move on to the next district now.
Hello, friends.
Because this way we can both talk, right? I don't have to keep switching back and forth for this one. So next we go 5A Division 1, District 9. And this one, Port Arthur Memorial and Friendswood have 1 and 2 locked up with, I believe, Port Arthur. Yeah, so actually, they do play each other. So this one is also up for grabs because, obviously, if Friendswood beats Port Arthur Memorial, they have that head-to-head victory. So a lot at stake in that game. And then you have Beaumont United and Ball sitting at 3-3, as well as Baytown Lee. However, Ball has the victory over Lee in this regular season. So if both teams win, Ball and Lee, then Ball would get in. So Lee has to win against Sterling, Battle of Baytown on Friday to even hope to get in. But if Ball beats LaPorte, then Ball will get in. So everything, basically, all Ball has to do is win and get in. So lots at stake for Ball and Lee right there. But if both teams win and Beaumont United loses, then both of those will get in. So Beaumont United also has to win. But they look like they've been on a little bit of a winning streak, if you will, the last few weeks. So what do you think about this district?
Yeah. Man, the concrete's not settled yet. That's what going into the last week of the season, the concrete's not settled. Like I said, if Beaumont United loses, that can change everything almost. So it's pretty interesting. Battle of Baytown. We were out there last year for the countdown to kickoff. We'll be out there again doing a
miniature version,
a little bit of a countdown to kickoff and doing the broadcast. So go check it out, VYPE.com, Flow Sports. I'm sure Josh will be all over that come later on in the week. So big implications there in 5A Division 1.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on, we have 5A Division 1, District 10. You got Katy, Paytown, Manville, and Fort Bend Hightower all at 6-1. I don't know how this one's going to work out. I think there's going to be some tiebreakers involved if all three win out. So, because I think none of them play each other. Yeah, so there could be some. I don't know how the tiebreaker goes in this case, but all three are sitting at 6-1.
Well, this is a really interesting. It's a really interesting district to your point, Josh, because they just all beat up on each other. I mean, Manville was ranked number 2 in the state at 5A going into the season, kind of slipped up a little bit, but they've gotten the season back on track. Hockey Nation is ready out of Manville. They've made deep playoff runs in the past, and they're fully capable of doing it again. But they were shocked by Hightower. But then Paytown goes in and beats Hightower like a drum, and then Manville goes in and beats Paytown. So I really don't know what to make of this district, besides the fact that the teams who come out of this district in playoffs, they're going to be ready for who they face in those first round or two of the playoffs until they start beating up on each other so it comes out of Region 3.
Yeah, so again, there's probably some tie-break shenanigans that I'm not completely aware about. So,
yeah.
But basically,
it's going to be big for playoff seeding.
Yeah, those three are in, as is Angleton. There's really no way any of the other teams can catch those. So the 1 through 4 are kind of locked in and settled. The only question is the seeding at this point. So that's how things look in District 10 of 5A Division 1. So let's move on to 5A Division 2 District 10. We got Montgomery.
Real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Real quick. I want to quick touch on 5A Division 1 and Division 2. Did you see who might move up from Division 2 and 5A up to Division 1?
Who is that?
Alito.
There you go.
Next year with conference realignment, because realignment's happening in February this year, everybody. So we're going to be talking a lot about realignment come February. Rumor has it, with the enrollment, Alito could jump up to Division 1 for 5A, which I saw Stephen Peters actually. He was like, he quote tweeted, he was like, I bet you all the D2s are finally thinking, finally, Alito getting out of D2 because they won like billion state championships. So, and probably one of the favored to win D2. But quick side note there. So, yeah, continue on to District 10.
Yes. So, District 10 of Division 2, Montgomery sitting at 5-0, A&M Consolidated 5-1, Rudder 3-2, and Full Share 2-3. Those are your top four. Let's see who Full Share does play Huntsville, so that is interesting right there because if they win, then if Huntsville wins, they'll have the same record as Full Share. Lake Creek Creek plays Montgomery, so you don't expect them to be in the hunt at 1-4 to try to get that 4th spot. So it pretty much looks like it's going to be Montgomery, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and then probably Full Share, but we'll see how they do. They have to beat Huntsville to get in. Yes, Scott.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Montgomery played Huntsville this last week and beat them in overtime, 35-32. That is Montgomery's first district title since 1989. Shout out to the Montgomery Bears. District title, that's 32 years. Not many people watching this were probably alive back then. So, big congrats to the Montgomery Bears for winning their district title.
Yeah, they've had a very great season. Have the chance to go undefeated if they beat Lake Creek. So, fingers crossed for that.
I mean, Huntsville is one of the better 5A teams in D2, too. So, that's a really big win for Montgomery.
Well, we say that, but now they're sitting at 1-4 in their district. So, they're having a little bit of off year. But, like I said, they can still get in if they beat Full Share and Lake Creek also loses. So, still some leeway for them to get in this year. Let's move on to 5A Division 2 District 11. Fort Bend Marshall, 7-0. What more can we say? Galena Park. That's a good. Galena Park 6-1. Sterling 6-2. Madison 5-2. Let's see. Fort Bend Willow Ridge. Who do they play? Looking here, they play Galena Park. So they would need to win. Willow Ridge would need to win, I believe. Well, no, I think even if Madison wins, because I think Madison did beat them. So I think this one might be settled in stone. Let's see. Looking at the schedule here. Give me 1 second. Willow Ridge.
Yeah, Marshall's got Madison this week.
Yeah. So they beat Willow Ridge last week. So although they said they have Fort Bend Marshall, but I'm pretty sure this is settled regardless of if Madison loses and Willow Ridge wins. I think it's still settled that Madison will get the playoff spot. So, but Fort Bend Marshall, that's I think really the team to watch out of that district. They got state championship aspirations where they may face Alito again.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the second time in 3 years that they could potentially face Alito in the state championship. I mean, to your point, Galena Park's got a good team over there on the east side, and they beat Galena Park 48-21. Pretty good game. You got Jacoby Banks, the athlete, back at quarterback right now. Chris Smart, big wide receiver. We actually saw him yesterday at the basketball photo shoot. Big guy. He's going to be announcing his commitment here pretty soon, so keep an eye on that. Josh Cook actually just dropped his interview, so go follow us on Twitter at VYPE Houston. But, yeah, Fort Bend Marshall, the M block, Coach James Williams over there, he's got the Buffs rolling. Expect them to make a deep playoff run.
Yeah. Moving on. This one's a little bit of an interesting one. So 5A Division 2, District 12. Crosby at 6-0 in the district. Texas City 5-1. Barbers Hill 4-2. And Nearland 3-3. Those are your top four. Port Neches Groves also 3-3. Here's what's interesting about this. Nearland currently has the edge over Port Neches Groves, I believe, from the head-to-head. Let me look in that real quick, but just to verify. and I'll tell you why that's important here in a second. So
Well,
Nederland,
Port Neches Groves has had a ridiculous amount of times they made the playoffs in a row. Was it like 17 or 18 years in a row, something like that?
not sure on that, but Nederland does own the head-to-head over Port Neches Grove. So if they ended with the same record in district, so if both teams won, then Nederland would get in. But Nederland plays Crosby, so you kind of expect Crosby to win that one. They really don't have anything to lose. Now, if Crosby wants to, they could rest some players because, Texas City, if they have the same record, then, Crosby still gets the number 1 seed. Port Neches Groves, they play Santa Fe, who is 0-9 on the season. So Port Neches Groves is, if you look at it on paper, even though they're number 5 right now, they're sitting pretty to take that 4 spot if things play out how you would expect them to play out, which is Crosby beats Nederland, Port Neches Groves beats Santa Fe. Boom, and Port Neches Groves get in. So it's really on paper. It looks like Port Neches Groves is getting that 4 spot.
Yeah, I'm looking at Dennis Silva's article right here real quick. Oh, he had Dayton going on. Okay, they're going for their 9th consecutive playoff appearance. Port Neches Groves. I thought it was longer. But, 9 straight years in the playoffs is nothing to scoff at. That's really impressive. That's a very proud program. So, Nederland has had the advantage, but man, that's a tough draw for the last game of the season compared to Port Neches Grove. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who squeaks in with that 4th playoff spot.
All about the luck of the draw sometimes. So, moving on.
It really is.
Now we got 6A upon us. 6A District 13. You have the Woodlands.
Boom, baby.
The Woodlands at 4-0. College Park 3-1. Willis 2-2. Conroe 2-2. You have Grand Oaks at 1-3. So let's see who Grand Oaks plays. Grand Oaks plays Oak Ridge, and then Conroe and Willis. Who do they play? Conroe and Willis play each other. So I'm pretty sure because of how the way things are stacked up. Let's see Willis and Conroe with Grand Oaks. Let's see if there's any hope for them. Willis and Conroe.
So Woodlands plays College Park this weekend. Big rivalry game.
So here we go. This is interesting. So, Grand Oak lost to Conroe but beat Willis. So that means if Willis were to hold on, let me get back to the records here. Sometimes my thing doesn't like to agree. So, if Willis loses this game against Conroe, Grand Oaks wins their game against Oak Ridge, and I believe Grand Oak goes in over Willis. So Conroe would move up to the 3 seed, Grand Oaks would move up to the 4 seed, and Willis would drop from 3 down to 5. So lots at stake in this game between Willis and Conroe, it looks like.
Yeah, it's interesting. District 13 6A is the smallest district in the state of Texas, which is part of the reason why there's so much movement. A lot of those teams had to play a tough non-conference schedule, as we talked a lot about the Woodlands playing Bridgeland, playing Katy, playing Lamar. So they had to fill up that schedule in different ways. But because there's only 6 teams, that means only 2 are going to be on the outside looking in. They're beating up on each other over there, trying to get that 3 and 4 spot.
Yeah, so very interesting indeed. So Willis needs that win to stay in. If not, if Grand Oaks wins, see you later. All right, moving on. District 6A, or District 14 and 6A. Westfield 6-0, Spring 5-1. Those 2 are pretty much locked up. Decaney at 4-2, and Nimitz at 3-3. Davis also at 3-3. So let's see who Nimitz plays. Nimitz plays Aldine at 0-9. So that one should be Nimitz should lock up, and Davis plays Decaney at 4-5.
This one's. Is it Nimitz that's going to make it on the 4th, or Ike?
It looks like Nimitz should make it. So I'm trying to do some math. So Davis does play Decaney. So right, is that right? So yeah. So it looks like let's say Nimitz wins, which they should. They're playing Aldine. So let's say Nimitz wins. But if Davis beats Decaney, Davis should get in over Decaney. Now I wonder about that. There might be some tiebreakers and stuff because I think Decaney did beat Nimitz. Let me check on that. Looking at my Max Preps crystal ball, did Nimitz beat Decaney? They did not. So Nimitz did not beat Decaney. So yeah, it's very interesting. This could there could be, they will all have the same record, so there could be some tiebreaker scenarios here. But if the way I'm looking at it is correct, if they all have the same record, I think Dekaney misses out. I think so. Of course, that has to happen, but we will see.
Yeah, I mean the two top headliners in this district though are Spring and Westfield.
Yes.
Right, Westfield's going to win the district championship because they beat Spring in the regular season. But I'm looking up who's going to go. I mean, we'll talk a lot about this next week or maybe later on in the week of who's going to go D1 versus D2. That's a hot topic of conversation at the moment. So it looks like Spring and Westfield are both going to go Division 1.
There you go.
So it looks like Dekaney and Nick are probably going to make the Matt Malatest this crystal ball on VYPE.com. Like I said, I mean, Davis could squeak in too if they were able to beat Dekaney.
Yep.
Yeah, Spring and Westfield both going D1 coming out of Region 2. Like, I wouldn't want to face those teams if I'm them. And so, I mean, this is actually already set. We know this, a little sneak preview. The Woodlands is going to be playing Spring week 1 of the playoffs. Round
go.
one like that's usually like a third round matchup, and you're getting that in the first round. That's a tough draw for the Woodlands and for Spring. So keep an eye on that matchup. We're going to talk a lot about that in the next week.
Moving on to 6A, District 15. Klein Collins at 5-0, Klein Kane 5-1, Klein Oak 3-2, Klein 2-3, and Tomball 2-3. Let's see who these teams play, especially Klein and Tomball. Klein and Tomball plays each other, so winner of that one gets that 4 spot. And then it looks like there's potential, of course, if Klein Oak loses to Tomball Memorial, which I don't think. So I think they have that one locked up. And then Klein Collins and Klein Kane, do they play? No, they do not play each other. So yeah, it looks like this one's pretty much locked in. I think you're gonna have Klein Collins at 1, Klein Kane at 2, Klein Oak at 3, and Klein at 4.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Klein Collins doesn't have a better record, but they have a better district record. Klein Kane is sitting at 8-2 on the season, while Klein Collins is 5-4. But Kane does have that one district loss, so that's why the district is working out that way. Kane might have the better team, but Klein Collins traditionally has the better teams. They had a rough start to the season. They've kind of figured things out and very well could be the district champion, which is awesome. Big shout out to Klein Collins for bouncing back on their season. Meanwhile, Tomball has the second best record in the district at 6-3 and could potentially be on the outside looking in if they lose to Klein. I do expect Tomball to win. I think Cale Helms, the quarterback there, the Army commit, is going to put the team on his back, and they're going to get it done against Klein. But Klein is very capable of beating Tomball.
It'll be interesting indeed. Moving on to 6A, District 16. Cypress Park 5-1, Cypress Ranch 4-2, Bridgeland 4-2, Cypress Woods 4-2. Then you have Cypress Falls and Langham Creek each at 3-3. So this district looks to be wide open. Let's see, Bridgeland playing Cypress Falls. So Bridgeland wins it, and that takes care of that. And let's see, Langham Creek. Who is Langham Creek playing? Langham Creek is playing Cypress Park. So hard task for Langham Creek to try and get into that, wiggle their way into that 4th spot. But it looks like Cypress Park, Ranch, Bridgeland, and Cypress Woods are your favorites to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that one. Of course, we'll have to see how those games go to determine who's 2 through 4. Pretty sure Cypress Park has that 1 spot locked up.
Yeah, I mean, they had a big win against Cy Ranch last week. And the VYPE Thursday night showdown, I mean, Harold Perkins was just all over the field. That guy's electric on the offense and defensive side of the ball. One of the top linebacker recruits in the country. Bridgeland, with Connor Wigman going down, it's been tough for them. They're not the same team without Connor Wigman, right? Not many teams would be the same if you don't have Connor Wigman. So it's looks like Bridgeland will probably also go Division 2, which is interesting in 6A, because I was curious going into the season if Spring or Westfield would meet Bridgeland on D2 or in Region 2, but Bridgeland's going to be going Division 2 while Spring and Westfield go D1. So that puts Cy Ranch and Cy Woods going Division 1. Meanwhile, Cy Park and Bridgeland would probably go Division 2. I'm saying in Division 2, I wouldn't want to face either one of those teams, especially Cy Park when you have 3 1,000-yard rushers.
Yeah.
3. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, should be locked in there. Moving on, 6A District 17. This is, of course, the Jersey Village district champions right there. Stratford at 5-1. Cy-Fair 4-2. Memorial 3-3. Cypress Creek has an outside shot to get in, but Cypress Creek plays Jersey Village, and Memorial plays Cypress Ridge. So pretty sure those are going to be your 4 teams right there.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Jersey Village and Cy-Fair going D1. Wait, so you think Lamar or you think Memorial's going to get in over Cy Creek for that 4th spot?
Well, I mean, they have the same record, so both of them would have to win to get in, or even if they lose, it looks like Memorial.
I think Memorial has the tiebreaker too.
Yeah, so they have to win, and Memorial plays the easier of the 2 opponents. So,
right, yeah, I think they're good. These are some pretty good teams here. Stratford might go further in the playoffs just because they're going Division II as opposed to Jersey Village. But I mean, Jersey Village won the district championship, so big shout out to them. But yeah, that's tough going D1 versus D2. It's just tough.
Indeed, it is. 6A District 18. Lamar 5-0.
Lamar.
West Side 4-1. Heights 3-2. Westbury 3-2. Looks like this one's settled. Chavez and Bel Air have no shot to get in. So the only thing is Heights and Westbury. Do they play? So yeah, maybe the only thing is who gets the 3 and who gets the 4, Heights or Westbury. So this one's pretty much set in stone.
So it looks like Westbury is going into the playoffs. Westbury defeated Chavez 29-14 last Friday night. And according to our Twitter account, it's the first time that the Westbury Huskies are in the playoffs in 9 years. 2012 was their last playoff appearance. So big congrats to Westbury High School for making the playoffs. HISD represent.
All right, next up we have 6A District 19. You got Katy at 5-0, Tompkins 4-1, Cinco Ranch 3-2, Seven Lakes 3-2. Pretty sure Morton Ranch, yeah, they play Katy, so I'm not giving them any shot to get in. And
who's making that 4th spot, Josh?
I think it's locked in. Well, you got Cinco Ranch and Seven Lakes, and they actually played each other, so that's an interesting one. I mean, it really doesn't matter because I think both of them are going D2, so it's really who's going to be the 1 seed or D1. I'm sorry. So who's going to be the 1 D1 and who's going to be the 2 D1. So because I think Katy and Tompkins are both D2 if I'm not mistaken. I know Katie's D2 for sure. So yeah.
So it looks like Tompkins and Seven Lakes are both going Division 1.
There you go.
And they're both in the playoffs. So it's going to be Katy going D2, and then it's either Morton Ranch or Cinco Ranch. So that's why I was asking who's going to get that 4th spot.
I think it's going to be Cinco Ranch. I don't think there's any way unless Morton Ranch has beaten Cinco Ranch. So let's see. Has Morton Ranch beat Cinco Ranch? Checking right now.
Let us know in the comment section, too. Who is your favorite to come out of Region 3, Division 1 and D2? I'm curious.
Morton Ranch did not beat Cinco Ranch, so even if they have the same record, Cinco Ranch would get in by tiebreaker.
Gotcha.
So that one is pretty much settled. Moving on to District 20 of 6A, you got Ridge Point at 6-0, Fort Bend Travis 5-1, Fort Bend Bush 4-2, and Fort Bend Clemens 4-2. Let's see who George Ranch plays because they're sitting at 3-3. They play Fort Bend Dulles, but I think maybe because of tiebreakers, I don't think it matters. So I think this one is pretty much settled as well. Let's see if they've beaten Bush or Clements. Let's see here.
I want to get my hello friends into the shot here. There you go. Well, I mean, Ridge Point has been by far probably the best team in that district coming out of 26A here. You got Bush and Travis locks for the playoff there too. So, I mean, Ridge Point, they had a big loss with Calvin Henry going down. Lost to Dickinson early in the season, but they've kind of gotten the season back on track. Bert Emanuel Jr. is the real deal at quarterback. I want to preface that. Dennis Silva II did a great article. It's up on VYPE.com. Go check it out. Free article. That one is not for VYPE insiders. Man, I'm surprised that Bert Emanuel Jr. doesn't have more college offers. I just am. The guy has proven himself. He comes from NFL bloodlines. He is whoever snags him, I think, is going to be elated. The guy is really, really good and very talented and developing and getting better every week.
Back to this game, George Ranch actually plays Clements. So if George Ranch beats Clements,
big game.
Yeah, big game right there. So and they've also beat Bush as well. So there's the potential where you could be looking at a three-way a record at 4-3, and then I don't really know. There could be some tiebreaker scenarios going on there. So a big-time game between George Ranch and Clements. Moving on to 6A District 21. North Shore 6-0, Tascasita 4-1, King 3-2, Summer Creek 2-3, Westbrook 2-3. Let's see, Westbrook plays at Tascasita, so unless the Tascasita just rests some people, I don't see that. I don't see Westbrook getting in. I think Summer Creek has that one locked in as far as the top 4 teams getting in on that one.
Yeah, I mean it's fairly predictable now, especially after Gavin Sessions went out at quarterback. 1, 2, 3, 4. Set in stone, North Shore and Atascocita going Division 1. Then you have C.E. King and Summer Creek going D2.
Moving on, District 22 of 6A, Deer Park 5-0, Dobie 4-1, Channel V 4-2, and South Houston 3-2. Pasadena Memorial sitting at 2-3, but they played Deer Park, so good luck there, Pasadena Memorial. It looks like this one may be locked in as well.
Yeah, Deer Park had a big win over Dobie a couple weeks ago. Dobie was the defending district champions. Show the Deer Park Deer. Shout out to the Deer prancing their way to a district title this season.
Yeah, so those 4 teams look locked in because even at Pasadena Memorial 1, it looks like they do not own the tiebreaker. So moving on to District 23 of 6A, you got Shadow Creek sitting at 6-0, Pearland at 5-1, Dawson at 5-1, Leaf Taylor at 3-3, and Straight Jesuit at 2-4. And Alvin at 2-4, but let's see who Alif Taylor plays. They play Alvin. Hey, my pronunciation ain't perfect, so I'll always say it until.
No, you're doing great.
And until people can pronounce my last name, I don't. You can't take offense. So.
Touche.
But it looks like Pearland and Dawson do play each other, so kind of bragging rights for taking second place is at hand there. And I don't know how the Division 1, Division 2 breaks up. It could be the difference between who's the 1 seed and who's the 2 seed as far as Division 1 or Division 2, if that plays out that way. I'm not sure.
So Pearland and Pearland Dawson is the VYPE Thursday night game of the week. This week, so big game come Thursday night. Todd Freed, Matt Malatesta will be on the call down at the Rig in Pearland, Texas. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. So who's winning the district? Is it Pearland?
Shadow Creek.
Shadow Creek is winning the district. So Shadow Creek beat Pearland, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Pearland is probably going to go Division 1. Same with Dawson. But it's a big game this week to determine who goes Division 1 versus D2. Because if Pearland loses to Dawson, I think Shadow Creek jumps up to Division 1. So the concrete is not settled in 23-6A. We don't know who's going to get that 4th spot yet, and we don't know who's going to go Division 1 versus D2. So we'll find out come Thursday.
And finally, District 24 of 6A, Dickinson 5-0, getting that district title. Clear Falls 4-1, Clear Springs 3-2, Clear Lake 2-3, and Clear Creek 2-4. So Clear Creek is done. They've played all their district games. This is their bye week. However, if Clear Lake,
really?
I'm looking at this, so I'm looking at this Clear Lake. They have to beat Dickinson if they want to get in because Clear Lake lost to Clear Creek. So there would be that tiebreaker there. So very important game. They're playing Dickinson, and if Clear Lake is. And I think they have to win that game to keep their playoff hopes alive. Is if I'm looking at this correctly.
Yeah, but I would expect Clear Creek to come out and beat Clear Lake.
Well, no.
On that game.
No. So Clear Creek is done. They've played all their district games. This is their bye week.
Oh, okay.
Clear Creek beat Clear Lake last week, or was it? Or 2 weeks ago. Clear Creek lost. Okay. They lost to Clear Creek, 54-35. So Clear Creek, all they have to have is they have to have Clear Lake lose to Dickinson, and I believe if I'm looking at this right,
Mm.
then Clear Creek will jump Clear Lake and be one of the teams in District
Man,
24 to make the playoffs.
we were talking tough draws with Port Neches Groves playing Santa Fe, Nederland playing Crosby. That's a tough break for Clear Lake, having to play Dickinson the last week of the season. Now, it does depend on how Dickinson wants to approach it. If they want to rest some of their guys, Donovan Green, Luke Martin, the quarterback, I don't know if I'm Dickinson. I probably won't, just because they're humming, and you don't want to mess with that groove. So I would expect Dickinson to play all their guys, at least in the first half. So Clear Creek that's tough when you can't you're in a I've never heard of a bye week on the last week of the regular season. That just sounds outrageous to me. So Clear Creek, like, you've done all you can do. You don't this is out of your control, which is a weird thing to me because you want to control your own destiny. But on the flip side, Clear Lake can. They're going to be fired up, ready for Dickinson. But Dickinson has the better team across the board, in my opinion. But it just depends on how hard Dickinson wants to get after it. I mean, they're going to want to get after those on the field, but are they going to play all their guys? I don't know. I would assume that they would. But, man, that's really interesting to see who gets that last and final fourth playoff spot in 24-6A.
Indeed. Well, that is all the districts that you kind of need to know about in the Houston area. But before we go, of course,
that's a lot, baby.
It is a lot. Over 20 districts. Before we go, we usually do the show we usually do this segment on Mondays, but because I was the only one on the Monday show, we couldn't do the segment. That's right. It is Who's That Mascot? And I don't know why it froze, but that's okay. You can see the title. There we go. It decided to unfreeze itself. Who's That Mascot? That's where I give Scott, or my co-host, a name of a school, and they have to tell me who the mascot of that school is. Shayna has been doing pretty well the last few weeks. You're usually averaging 2 or 3, Scotty, so you got some competition there. So are you ready to compete and see how you do this week?
Let's do it.
All right, your first school, Cedar Ridge. Austin area school.
Yeah. Oh, no. I was thinking of, like, Cypress Ridge.
I'll give you a hint.
I can see their colors. Is it the Rams?
I'll give you a hint, and maybe this will make you keep your answer or not. This is also an NFL mascot. So,
an NFL mascot?
Yes.
I'm gonna say the Rams.
So
I hope I'm right.
You are incorrect. It is the Raiders. You were thinking, I think, Cypress Ridge, who is, I think, the Rams. So I think that's where you got the Rams from. So moving on.
Done it. All right.
Moving on to the second one. I was expecting Shayna to be on the show yesterday, which is why I put this one on, because she would have gotten this one. Garland Saxe.
Yeah, I have no clue. I'm going to say the Mustangs.
That is interesting because that is correct.
No way.
Yes,
are you serious?
Are the Mustangs. I was like, did he really just guess it right? Wow, that was a really good guess.
I guessed it right.
There you go.
Wow.
All right.
Boom, baby.
And your last one. This one was also kind of picked with kind of Shanna in mind, but it's a small school. It is Stockdale.
I don't even know where Stockdale is.
It's in Central Texas. Kind of think of what Central Texas is all about, small town wise, and maybe take a guess based off of that.
Okay. The Stockdale Armadillos.
Stockdale Armadillos is incorrect. They are the Brahmas. Stockdale Brahmas. So
Brahmas. Okay.
No,
yeah, it wasn't
some
close.
Agricultural stuff in my neck of the woods. So, yeah, that is our Who's That Mascot segment. So, hey, you got one. You threw up that Hail Mary, and Drew Pearson came down with it.
I mean, seriously, that was like from the clouds. Just boom, baby. It's a catch.
Well, this show has been almost an hour today. It was a long show because we had to go through a lot of districts. But before we get out of here, Scotty, tell us where people can go to find all of our lovely content.
Go follow us on social media at VYPE Houston on Instagram and Twitter, at VYPE Texas on Facebook. Go to VYPE.com. Check out all the amazing content that we are dropping on a daily basis. Hey, guess what? You can also be a VYPE Insider. Go sign up for VYPE Insider, premium articles, exclusive content, videos, breaking news, Friday night friends. Oh, that's KPRC. All the Friday night breakdowns that we're going to be doing, come playoffs, playoff preview, crystal balls. You got to be a VYPE Insider. Go check it out. So go sign up. $2.99 a month, or if you want to pay annually, it breaks down to $1.99. But hey, if you pay annually, it's $24 a year. I mean, that's how much Matt Malatesta spends at Starbucks on one trip. So you're totally good there. So go check us out. That's how we keep. That's how we are able to keep pumping out content and some amazing content on a weekly basis. While you're here on a YouTube channel, for those watching, click that subscribe button. We got some highlights, some long form interviews that are dropping every single day. So stay up to date. Click that notification bell.
That's right. And, hey, until next time, we'll be back tomorrow. We won't be live tomorrow. We'll have our recorded shows, Coach's Corner, the Craig Cranfield Show, maybe the VYPE podcast. But we'll be back Thursday with our preview show. Got some great games to look at. Until then, hey, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you at the games.